So I've actually met this author twice in person, and I just was with her this morning. And I'm thinking, damn, I should have taken a picture of her and me. But no, I was taking pictures for our newsletter. I belong to a historical lineage society, the Daughters of the American Revolution. And we had a very interesting guest speaker this morning. She could, if you need a guest speaker, I am posting the link to her website in my description in the thing below, and you can be able to check her out for yourself. She also does guest speaking and stuff like that. So we met her a couple of years ago, before COVID, probably let's say December 18 or 19, whatever, just before COVID came through. We had she was our Christmas holiday speaker. So I have a copy of her book, and I'll try to post the picture someplace. It's just me reading books, talking books. I have no special effects, nothing like that. So I'll try later to do this. This is the D. Louise book series of Christina Kristina. And this young lady, Miss Karen A. Chase, has written this book, Carrying Independence. It's a semi-fictional, semi-historical. It's based on the main character is fictional, but the events around it that she used to do it are historical. She's also writing another book, which will be very, very interesting, about this lady. I think it's Eliza Trist, who with her mother ran a house, a boarding house, maybe a bed and breakfast type situation up in Pittsburgh. And she was friends with Jefferson and Madison, Monroe, the whole 9 yards. And she meets this guy, and I think he's British, and he decides he doesn't want to fight. So they meet, fall in love, marry, have a child. The war starts. He decides he doesn't want to participate, so he vacates to New Orleans or Nantucket. She'll tell you in her book. So it is New Orleans. It's Louisiana. Let's put it this way. Let's just go broad strokes and go Louisiana. It's like Nantucket, whatever. Because I think in Nantucket, I'm thinking the Kennedys up in Connecticut, but it's whatever the one in New Orleans was, by Louisiana. And this woman takes this big journey from Pittsburgh, and if she had waited 2 extra days, she would have gotten Jefferson's letter going, hey, don't go, it's going to snow. And if she'd waited an extra 2 days, she would have gotten the other letter from her husband. But anyway, it takes her about 6 months to travel, and the book will be Eliza. I don't know the full title yet. It'll be out next summer. And it's about her journey from Pittsburgh to Louisiana, and all the people she meets and all her adventures in between, the whole 9 yards. It's a really good journal. They have hundreds of letters scattered around the country. She's gathering all this research material. She's got a person who she's proven their genealogical line back to these ladies, and she's going to get her inducted into the Daughters. It's a whole huge story. It's fresh in my mind from this morning, so that's why I'm spieling. But this book, she also has another book, Recipes, on her site too. I saw it this morning. I should have gotten it. It's a little pocket-sized book. It's about a lady in Italy. But anyway, this is Carrying Independence by Karen A. Chase. I will post the link below, and I hopefully get her picture up here. It's semi-fictional. The character is fictional, but the story surrounding it is true. She did a lot of research. This took her years to research, and she's got tons and tons of documents to support what's in the book. So, and this is all during the Declaration of Independence. This is the guy who, there were seven 7 or 8 men that were not in Philadelphia to sign the Declaration of Independence. So this gentleman volunteers to travel around the country to get their signatures. Can you imagine this one of a kind document? Probably the original. There was like 5 or 6 originals, maybe. I know I've heard stories. You'll have to. I'm not an expert on this. And he takes it around the country to have these men sign the document, and his adventures as he does this. The Declaration of Independence has been approved by Congress. The delegates have agreed to assemble on August 2nd to sign a single copy that would show they stand unanimous in their desire to separate from British rule. But the struggle to bring all the congressmen to Philadelphia for the formal signing seems uninsurmountable as the fight for independence against the world's greatest army. With cries of war spreading across the colonies and pressure mounting to join the revolution, an intrepid young post rider, Nathaniel Martin, is reluctant to raise a rifle for the cause. His heart is pulled by sympathy for his mother, English-born and loyal to her homeland, concern for his father, whose artisanal gun shop is being converted into an armory for the newly formed Continental Army, and fear for the peaceful Shawnee tribe he has long considered his second family. In a chance encounter with Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson, Nathaniel is asked to take on the role of a lifetime. Secure the remaining signatures by carrying the sole copy of the Declaration to congressmen unable to attend the formal signing. The risk, British generals and double-crossing spies are eager to capture both Nathaniel and the document so they can divide the 13 colonies already weakened by war. Through an encounter with a well-known founding father and mothers, by witnessing the effects of the Revolution on ordinary Americans, Nathaniel learns that independence for himself, for those he loves, and for the country is not guaranteed. It's chosen by each and every one of us. Carrying Independence. She's a really good guest speaker, and she's a really good storyteller. If I had the memory on my phone, I might have videotaped the whole thing. Then, of course, she might have claimed, But anyways, it was a very good speaker. I'll just give you a couple pages. There's a fly here. There's a little map. See that? And the conditions had changed, and not for transient causes. Nathaniel clasped the Declaration of Independence by the edges. In his shaking, raging hands, engrossed names on the parchment merged into a tumultuous blur. He stood alone in his moccasins, his familiar buckskin jacket once again across his taunt shoulders, alone before the dresser in the room he'd shared with his brother, in the stone house his grandfather had built on the Martin family farm he'd always called home. Now the barren land and the shattered house grown with a crackling cold brought on by both winter and grief. None of this felt like home, all because of the 55 signatures expecting one more. Collecting them was supposed to have been simple enough. You have nothing to lose, Franklin had told him 6 months ago. Franklin had lied. It is not a declaration of war, Jefferson had said. Jefferson was a fool. It was a declaration of freedom. They insisted, and yet for Nathaniel it invoked a sentence no one he knew was willing or able to pay. It was irony on parchment that what it was and the consequences of carrying it were not his fault, no more than they were Franklin or Jefferson's. No, the blame for all the losses, his losses, lay with just one. This damned document. Nathaniel cursed the signatures before him and folded it one last time. Snap, snap, snap. He shoved it inside the dresser drawer along with the scope, the cursed bag of silver, and instruments he carried all these months on that impossible, catastrophic task. He grasped the drawer with both hands and shoved it shut, pushing with all the force of 6'3" frame. The dresser rocked back and cracked against the stone wall. It was buried there, and there it would stay, undeclared, unfinished. He was finished. He drew in a ragged breath. It still didn't feel like enough to bury it here, in a wooden dresser. After all, he'd had to bury her in the ground. He'd been the one to dig the hole, him, not them, so that the dirt and her blood was still lodged beneath his nails, her English blood that would forever run in him. He curled his calloused hands into fists and whispered, I will be burdened no longer. There was only one way to end the suffering, to bring true freedom. The document needed to be destroyed so it and he could never be found. He turned on his heel and headed outside to the woodpile. Nathaniel strode across the vacant yard between the stone house and his father's gun shop, not weighed down by the axe in his hand, but driven by the conviction that this choice was the right one. Nathaniel squared a log upright. He grasped the axe with both hands and swung it high. He'd already aching muscles screamed as he brought the blade down hard, slamming it through the wood as the sun dragged any hint of warmth below the winter horizon. Again and again, a burst of hot air puffing from his lungs with each thrust. His long hair breaking free from the leather tie, Nathaniel begged the metal to cut out the memories that still came unbidden. The memory of mosquitoes snipping at his face, he and his horse tethered to a trader as he descended Virginia, cracked the city of New York overrun with soldiers, and the hills of Harlem moaning with the miles of ragged men, starving men, dying men, crack. His family, his friends, all of them so accusing, crack, all of them walking away or taken from him, crack. At last the log broke, separated. A section spun from the cold earth, thumping into a nearby drift. In the plume of violet snow, the memory of her tear-raged face swirled before him. Nathaniel looked away, the axe hanging forgotten from his weakened limb. He searched the darkened eastern horizon as if it held the answer to all he had lost. But the gaping field was barren, bereft, or was it? At the edge of the meadow, far across the drifted snowbanks, a shadow moved. Nathaniel narrowed his eyes, straining for a clearer view. The last vestiges of twilight reflected off a figure moving in and out of the trees toward him. An elk? No. A horse, a man, a redcoat. Nathaniel's heart pounded out a warning. He flung down the axe and ran for his rifle, sprinting the few dozen feet to the stone house and back within seconds. The loaded weapon in hand, he ran for the oak at the edge of the yard. He scrambled up the trunk, his heart thumping with vengeance, his fists tearing frozen bark from the limbs. He stretched out on a long branch and aimed his rifle at the lone rider, 600 yards. He drew his broad shoulders up tight as the figure flew across the land. He swallowed thickly and kept his gaze focused on his target, his weapon steadily in his hands. 500 yards. The last time he had fired at another, the enemy had fallen. He was only a boy. 400 yards. But that was war. This was now, and the conditions had changed. This was survival. 300 yards. Nathaniel steadied his finger on the trigger, trained the barrel on the invader's chest. Once again, just as he had seen 7 months ago, Nathaniel was eager for the hunt. So check it out. Carrying Independence. Karen A. Chase. She's got fabulous reviews. It's a really good book, historical, and I'm very looking forward to Eliza's book next year that I mentioned previously. She's got some reviews in here. She's a really good speaker if you need a speaker. It's really good. It's riveting, and my copy is signed. So please check it out. Please hit the like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. Like I said, it's just me reading books, talking books. Don't forget Star Trek Fridays and Flashback Mondays and a daily book review. We are doing Stan, Sparks, Lara K, JD Robb, and Alyssa Maxwell right now. We will be moving on to Janet and Coulter and Patterson at some point when we finish those other series. So please hit the like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. Thank you.